up, people? So once again, this is another edition of the studio session predictions, but not really giving any serious predictions on any serious fights, even though we got one coming up this weekend. I just wanted to touch up on the recent Miguel Cotto Delvin Rodriguez fight and a potential fight next year. That's going to be more than likely occurring, but I'll get to that in a minute. As I mentioned in the prior video, I was attending this fight with Cotto and Rodriguez. And let me tell you that the arena itself, watching it on TV and actually being there, it was a mini Madison Square Garden, man. The crowd was just like crazy loud. Now, obviously, for those who aren't aware, Orlando is, Puerto Rico's, I guess, home away from home. I mean, it's just massive amounts of Puerto Ricans. And needless to say, the Amway Center in Orlando was filled to the brim with mostly Puerto Ricans. And, I was there with the crew. Shouts, out to all of them. And, man, it was really crazy because this is the first time I've actually gotten to see Cotto fight in person. And, I mean, I got to say that there were a lot of people there that aren't necessarily your conventional boxing fans. And I will say this as well. The female to male ratio was 3-to-1 in favor of women, man. And, I'm married and whatnot, but for y'all, let me tell you, man, you would have had double the fun going to that fight. Trust me. So, needless to say, Miguel Cotto put on, a vintage performance, and granted, he was supposed to do this. I think it was just more of a situation of how he attacked the body, like, because it kind of seemed like he's steered away from attacking the body, and he's gotten more defensive and become more of a boxer than really being both a boxer puncher like how he used to be against like Mosley and Judah and fights before that. So this was like a vintage performance from him, and I thought he would take him out, but not that soon. I mean, you could visibly see that Delvin Rodriguez knew he was in with a killer, and Miguel Cotto, I don't think it's a situation that he's gotten better, because Miguel Cotto is Miguel Cotto, and this is who he's going to be. But he's got the experience, and he has now a trainer who's an offensive-minded, trainer, and I think that's what Cotto wants. And it's kind of a thing where he's neglected certain punches, like the left hook to the body or the left hook to the head, as for obviously those who aren't aware, Cotto is a natural left-handed fighter, so he has his strongest hand in front. That's why his jab is like a missile, and people are like, shit. So now it's you look at Miguel Cotto and you're saying like, man, this dude is rejuvenated, but you do have to keep in mind and like, okay, this was Delvin Rodriguez. But what I will say is that Cotto looked more like an attacker, and it looked, obviously we know he could box. We've seen it against Mosley, we've seen it against Mayweather, but clearly, his biggest attribute is really switching it up and using the boxing and using the brawling in a sense, and really being dirty in a way. Because if you look at his toughest fights, man, I mean, he could get dirty when he wants to, and Floyd's even admitted like his shots to the thighs, and trust me, man, like he's got dirty tactics too. So he's now in a situation where he could possibly be in the biggest fight of his career. And obviously you would say that in his fight with Floyd Mayweather, but here's the thing. There's obviously been talks that Sergio Martinez and Miguel Cotto are likely, very likely, to be facing one another June 7th of 2014, which is the day before the Puerto Rican Day Parade. And it is tentatively being negotiated for it to be at MetLife Stadium, which is where the Giants and the Jets play. And that can be huge for really both guys, because Sergio Martinez has been the recognized middleweight champion for like 3 years, and he's been really breaking down because people forget as good as he is and how good he's gotten, later on in his career. He really is going to be 38 or 39 or going on 40 soon. So this is really, I mean, if you look at it business-wise for both guys, this is the biggest money maker or money fight that Sergio Martinez can be in, because he's not going to fight Floyd and he's not going to fight Pacquiao. Cotto's the next best guy, and Cotto's obviously been at 154 now for like around 2 years, or close to 3 years, I would say. And if they make a catch weight of 150, I'm thinking it's going to be 157, and I think Martinez can make that, because he always comes in like 158 anyway. I really don't think he's not a big middleweight to begin with, so he's taller than Cotto, but his in-ring fight night weights are usually just like 168. He doesn't really balloon up that much. Cotto, he sometimes comes up to 164 or 165. So there's not going to be that much of a difference, or as much as people think. And that's why I think this fight can be, I mean, this could be, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, this could be one hell of a fight. I mean, just the style matchups. I mean, I just can't see where it's going to be a boring fight. I mean, you got a southpaw in Martinez who's good on his feet. He's had that knee injury, but he keeps his hands down. He that's how he fights. He kind of moves around, doesn't stay in one spot. And then you got somebody like Cotto, who's a little stockier, smaller, but he knows how to cut the ring off. I don't think there's anybody that Martinez has ever fought that can do that, has that ring, or that ring generalship that Cotto has. And for Cotto to do that to somebody like Floyd Mayweather, I can't see how he won't be successful to do it against Sergio Martinez. Now, I mean, obviously Sergio Martinez is going to be naturally the bigger guy in a way. I think Cotto can overcome that. So I really just think it's the situation if Cotto can take a solid shot from a legit middleweight. And we'll find that out, because from the reports I'm reading, it looks like this fight is going to happen. I mean, both of these guys, it just makes sense. But they don't have that many fights left. And listen, for the people that think that Martinez is ducking Golovkin, look, man, this is where the business of boxing, maybe this is like a lesson to some people. Both of these guys are in the twilights of their careers, man. They got like about maybe 2, maybe 3 solid fights left, if that, depending if this fight occurs, how that comes out. This is the biggest opportunity for both of these guys to make a lot of money, make a huge event out of it, big pay-per-view sales. I don't know about like the millions, but I mean, I think it'll be in the high 100,000s. At MetLife Stadium, the first boxing event, and Cotto's going to try to be the first Puerto Rican in boxing history to be a 4-division champion. I mean, and this is really the whole point of the fight, of why Cotto's really been in talks of trying to make this happen, because the initial thought was maybe he would fight Canelo, being that he lost to Mayweather. But if you think about it, man, I mean, this is just a higher stakes. Like, what does Cotto gain from fighting Canelo after a loss? So this, if you look at it on paper, man, I mean, it's one of those fights that I think even the casual fans will tune into, because it's just a legendary fight, man. And they're going to sell it on the notion that Cotto is going to be, trying to be the first Puerto Rican to win, 4 divisions, 4 titles and 4 divisions. So I'm pretty sure in the near future, they're still negotiating this fight. My opinion is that it's going to happen, but I don't expect to hear word like very, very soon, because it's still October. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, this weekend we have Provatnikov and Mike Alvarado, and I think that fight, man, is going to be another explosive fight. Both of these guys, it's like one guy's a brawler, and Alvarado can brawl too, but he's a good boxer. But Provatnikov's a good boxer too. He doesn't get credit for his boxing skills, man. And that's, that's kind of a tough fight to judge, man, because we seen Alvarado have the ability to adjust as for how he fought against Rios in the first fight, and then how he fought him in the second fight where he just outboxed him. Can he do that to Provodnikov, who I think is obviously a stronger puncher than Rios? I think maybe a more durable guy than Rios, as what we saw in the Bradley fight. It's really a toss-up to me, man. For 12 rounds, can he outbox Provodnikov, Alvarado for 12? Can Alvarado outbox Provodnikov for 12 rounds? I don't think he could without getting his ass kicked in the meantime. So, man, I don't know. I'm gonna just flip a coin to say Provodnikov, man. I mean, I just think the X factor with him, man, I mean, is he just hits hard as fuck. He just does, man. And even when I saw it when they did the face-off, his demeanor is just like these Russians, yo. They don't give a shit, man. They just want to fight. I love it. But any case, man, that's pretty much it, yo. I'll pick Provodnikov in that fight. And as far as Cotto Martinez, I'll report back on that as the news comes. But like I said, I don't expect that to happen very, very soon, but I do expect it to happen. So stay tuned, and I'll be back soon. Peace.